We've reviewed a lot of presidential elections around this table, 7 to be exact, but none like the one we've just witnessed. 2016 saw a presidential race between the 2 least popular candidates in modern history and a campaign that fit that bill. Colorado played a major role in the race, starting in the primaries where state Republicans voted for Ted Cruz and were a continued thorn in Donald Trump's side at the national convention. Meanwhile, state Democrats were all in for Bernie Sanders in the primary, but delivered the state to Hillary in November. Patty, the presidential election campaign that was beyond the pale in so many ways, your thoughts?
Well, and amazing how Colorado was in play. At first it wasn't in play, then it was in play, then it wasn't in play, then it was in play. So at least network TV got some ads out of it. We all got to be assaulted by those ads. I like it when Colorado was contrarian, which it was. It did not exactly go like the rest of the country. You know, they went for Bernie Sanders. This is, of course, the place that went for Jerry Brown, too. Went for, and then voted for Clinton. The Republicans just went bananas over almost everything in this state. They objected at the national convention. They'd gone for Cruz. We got called rigged by Donald Trump, which is really wonderful. That we were the first state to be rigged back in April. So that's fun, but you just cannot believe what really happened in this election on every level. The Hillary Clinton campaign just not getting it. But Donald Trump, the fact that we've got a reality TV guy now in reality as our president is just astonishing. And it's going to be a Trumptious 2017.
David, do you think Colorado Republicans will pay for their intransigence?
Oh, probably, because our Peronist president has made revenge a high priority, at least verbally. On the other hand, some of his cabinet appointments have been more inclusive. So we'll see how long. He's capable of acting mature from time to time, although not sustaining that. So we'll have to wait to see on that one. But as we think about what was a close election, as it turned out, let's not lose sight of the longer-term trend, and what we see is who is the gigantic winner of the past quarter century in American politics, who completed his triumph this election, and that's William Jefferson Clinton. He started his project of corrupting American society with an idealistic law student from Yale named Hillary Rodham. And then by the time he'd finished his second term as president, he'd corrupted the entire Democratic Party to defend a shameless and lawless liar. And then, to show what a unifier he is, he's now corrupted the entire Republican Party. So they go down to his standards and say, oh, our candidate's a liar. He's post-truth. He doesn't mean anything he says, and we like that. He does sexual assaults just like Bill Clinton does. No problem at all like that. Oh, those old fuddy-duddies from 1997 who said character counts, morals are important, I'm a values voter. He's wiped them all out. We are all Clintonistas now.
Eric, I think it's fitting that in our year in review show that David, throughout 2016, has given you a variety of difficult segues, gives you this one. I have absolutely no idea where to go with this. Your take on the 2016 presidential election and what we discussed here.
I have no idea where to go with that either. I'm tempted to say I'm out of here. See you in 17. But I was thinking this morning before the show, put yourself back a decade. So it's 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. And someone offered you a bet that the next 2 presidents of the United States would be Barack Hussein Obama, emphasis on the middle name, who at that point in time was a relatively new senator, backbench senator from Illinois, having been a backbench state legislator in Springfield, Illinois, followed by a reality TV star, developer of mixed reputation named Donald Trump. I mean, you know, you can't make this stuff up. Politics is action-reaction. Barack Obama could only have been elected president in the aftermath of George W. Bush and the country's desire for change, intense change. Donald Trump, to my thinking, can only be elected president in the aftermath of Barack Obama and some of the excesses or perceived excesses there. It has been an incredibly wild ride. If there is a hidden blessing here, I'm not going to adopt David's tone or even David's content, but at least the country is out, and the Democratic Party in particular can move to the next chapter and is out from under that Clinton umbrella, that Clinton shadow that has been there for the last couple of decades. What kind of president Donald Trump will be, you know, there have been some pleasant surprises in the transition so far. We're taping this a couple weeks in advance of the airing, so who knows, you know, what's going on and what tweets are getting sent minute to minute, much less week to week or 2 weeks to 2 weeks. My last question that I've been trying to come to grips with is, was Hillary Clinton such a weak candidate that almost any Republican would have beaten her, a la a Marco Rubio, a Scott Walker, even a Chris Christie, God forbid? Or was Donald Trump, even though we all thought how weak he was he really the only one who could pull this off? When a Mitt Romney and others couldn't win this presidency, was he the only one that could break through that blue wall and turn Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and other places red? I don't know the answer to that, but she was a weak candidate.
Penn, we saw this presidential election hit a variety of high water marks for disgust, things said on the trail, things tolerated by all of it. Have we seen that high water mark, and can it now recede, or do you think now our elections from now on will be hurdling this bar?
Well, first of all, happy holidays. No, in many respects, what troubles me is I think the worst is yet to come. We have a president-elect who his closest advisors and family still can't take his cell phone away from him and tell him tweeting at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. is not an appropriate thing for the President of the United States to do. You send out one tweet saying you don't want a new Air Force One, and Boeing stock starts to plummet. And so, no, I don't think we're done yet. You know, I was very concerned about us this past year, and it played out through the entire election. One thing I would reference in Eric's question is, I think only Donald Trump could have beaten Hillary Clinton, because I think what we've seen occur is the discourse in this country sink to such a low level. The only Republican nominee who could have beat her was someone, number one, who the establishment didn't really want as their nominee initially, and number two, someone who was willing to say anything, do anything, and frankly lie at the drop of a hat and then deny lying when you were even caught on camera telling the lie to win an election. And that's what we got. Colorado is still a very odd place. I mean, Cruz and Sanders, we're one of the few states that did that. And it was so weird that even Colorado Republicans walked out of the RNC because they're like, we're not doing this Trump guy. This is insane. But that's who's the president. And the level of the dialogue, the discourse was just, it was embarrassing. It was ugly. It was demeaning. And I think it was hurtful to a lot of Americans. And so the problem is now that you're a president-elect and soon to be president, you still have to govern. And it's kind of difficult. I think it'll be difficult for people to transition from saying, lock her up, she's a witch, she's horrible, or she fits some of the descriptions that David just gave of her. And then, you know, you're not prosecutor, or you make favorable remarks towards her or President Obama. It's almost as if you're telling people, don't ever listen to what I say because it can't be believed. Just listen to me in the moment and I'll change my mind next week. So I think we're in for some really distressing and difficult times as a nation, and in terms of our role on the world stage, because that's where I think the greatest threat to the country may lie.